Dead Smurfs, Russ Steele.
I have 7.5 minutes to tell you something. By the time that 5 of you are evaluating me, you will have forgotten half of what I'm going to tell you today. And 2 weeks from today, you probably won't be able to remember just about anything. But if you can remember one thing from my speech today, I want you to remember this. Dead Smurfs are funny. Now, to tell you why I think this, I have to go back a little bit. Go back to 1985, to when life was a little simpler. Do you remember as children how some things seemed a little bit bigger than they actually ended up being in the end? This was the case with cartoons for me. Every day after school, I would race my sister home to see who got to the TV first. And the results could be either very good if I got there first. It would be Scooby-Doo followed by Captain Caveman and on into Looney Tunes. Or it could be very bad if my sister got a hold of the TV, because it would be Strawberry Shortcake into Rainbow Bright, and into those stupid Smurfs. Those awful Smurfs. And so one day she won, and so I took my consolation prize. I holed up in my room with my stack of Mad magazines. And I got a brilliant idea. Why don't I kill them all? Why don't I create the Smurf Chainsaw Massacre? So that's how I spent my afternoon. But I thought, this is just too good. This is too creative to keep to myself. So this is going to be my next read aloud project in my 7th grade creative writing class. So I got up there, I did it. It was a big hit with the class. Actually made me a little bit of a celebrity. I got to meet a few more people at the school that I hadn't met before, very much, like the principal, the school psychologist, other people. So my parents were alarmed. We had a brand new English teacher. This was her initiation into the 8th grade, was a couple of things like this. So basically, everybody came down on me. And my one thought throughout all of this, through all the trouble I was in, through all this Dead Smurfs thing, it's really funny. This is my one thought. So I ran into the typical problem that artists face. Not everyone gets it, but everybody has something to say to you. This is wrong, this isn't good, you should do this, you should do that. And I let this get to me. This wasn't the only time that this similar thing happened. I would push an edge and someone would try to push me back, whether it was my parents, a church leader, a school teacher. Don't do this, don't do this. And so I stopped. I started looking for approval, but there was none to find, not even my own. Because I had a nearly permanent writer's block. My Smurfs actually were dead, and this time it wasn't funny. I came up with every excuse in the book not to write. I'm not writing because it isn't good enough. I'm not writing because it's not perfect. It needs to be perfect. I need to be a reason to do this because I'm not a writer. I'd always identified as a writer, but now I wasn't. And so it got to be where I didn't even think of myself as a writer, and where everything I did was writing for something else. And then I came across this great book called The Artist's Way by Julia Cameron. And it's just a wonderful book, and it helped me to realize why I was blocked and how this writer's block that I had, this artist block, was blocking me physically. It was blocking me mentally. It was blocking me spiritually. I was giving power to other people to approve what was mine to approve. And it had a simple solution. The solution was just this. Write 3 pages a day about anything that you would like. Go for a walk for an hour a week, and go out and play and do something for yourself every week. Just by yourself, do something you want. My results, nothing less than phenomenal. I've written over 300 pages since I started this. I've made physical, mental, spiritual breakthroughs that I couldn't even imagine. And my dead Smurfs are alive again. No, they're not. They're funny. But they really are funny. I got vindication on this. I was just sitting around on a Wednesday night, like I usually do when this is going on, and I turn on South Park. And here's this great episode where they're accusing the class president of killing all the Smurfs with tanks, and they're running over these little Smurfs, and the Smurfs are splattering everywhere, and it's Smurf berries everywhere, and it's just great. And I'm not the only one that thinks this is funny. They thought it was funny enough to actually turn it into a cartoon and let hundreds of thousands of people watch this. So I felt vindicated. So, and I know now that my dead Smurfs, and not just my dead Smurfs, are funny. So what dead Smurfs do you have? What are you holding back in your life? What creative things are you holding back from the world, and why? Get out there and do it. Get them out in the open. You owe it to the world. And besides, dead Smurfs are funny.